Hello my sweets, it's Keisha. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you consider subscribing. I've joined together with some of my talented YouTube friends to bring you a red, white, and blue decor collaboration. So when you're done watching my video, make sure to check out the playlist linked in the description box below. Today I'll be showing you how I made this patriotic decor piece that can be hung or used just about anywhere. If you'd like to see how I made it, just keep watching. Okay, I have two of these signs, tag signs from Dollar Tree, and what I'm gonna do is cut one of them down to make it a little bit smaller than the one that's there. So I'm going to take 3 inches off the bottom. This ruler measures 3 inches wide, and then I'm also going to take an inch off of this. Can you see? Let me move it up here. I'm going to take an inch off of this side and this side and this side and this side. I'm not going to take any off the top. So I'm just going to mark these off. And then once I'm done marking them, I'm going to cut them. And I did a short clip of, well, not a clip, but a short section of how I actually remove, excuse me, I'm sorry, how I remove the paper off of these, because that's something that I prefer to do. And if you're interested in how I do that, that'll be coming up here shortly. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of these areas here. Okay, so you're going to need your sign with the paper on it, a spray bottle, some kind of scraper tool, and paper towels. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove the hanger. Save that to the side, and then remove these stars. And what I like to do is just tear off as much of the paper as I can possibly get off. Next, I'm going to take the spray and just spray it down. Now, I'm doing this on top of craft paper. This was here from the last time I was crafting, and usually after I end a video, I take it off and put a new set if it's messed up like this. You can also use just a towel. If you have an old towel that you can donate to the cause, or if you don't mind using. And then we're going to let this sit for a few moments. Okay, so once that is soaked, the water has soaked in for a few minutes, you can begin scraping. And you'll see here that the water hasn't all the way penetrated through down to the chipboard or MDF, whatever this material is. But you can still get some scraped off. And I'm doing this with a minimal amount of effort. Then I take another pass with the water. then what I do is come in and soak up some of this extra water. If you have a towel down, you don't necessarily have to do this stuff. And there you have it. So you now have a clean board. You just need to let it dry out, and if you want to sand it, you can sand it, paint it, do whatever it is you're going to do next. I cut the board down, as you can see here, and I went ahead and sanded the edges and sanded the corners so that they're curved, so they look sort of like this one. Now next I'm going to go ahead and paint this one here, and I'm gonna paint it with this Ivory Waverly chalk paint. I'm gonna go ahead and set that to the side and prepare for the next step. I found this piece of fabric in my stash, and so what I'm going to do is take some matte Mod Podge and apply it to this tag here. Now this fabric, I've had this for years and years. I imagine you could still find this if you are looking for it. I believe I did purchase this at Walmart. But I'm sure any fabric store would have this, and it's just a blue fabric with little white polka dots on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this open and get some Mod Podge out on here and apply an even layer, and then apply the fabric. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. On this next step, I'm going to be using some scraps of fabric here that I have. These are also from my stash. This one is more recent. I purchased it around Christmas time at Hobby Lobby. And this one again, I believe, I've had this one for years, but it may be that I purchased it from Walmart or Joann fabric. And it's more of an off-white color, this one, that the dots are. I don't know if the camera picks that up, which is why I chose to go ahead and go with the Ivory on the back. And I'm also going to be using these pieces of lace that I have in my stash. These I purchased at a garage sale. So, but the first thing I need to do is to measure out where these stripes are going to be. So I need to find the center of this board here, and so I'm going to measure that out. It's almost 8 inches. So let's see here, 7, so that's 3.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, and about the half. And I'm just doing a couple of tick marks there. And then what I'm going to do is from this center mark, I know that I want the stripes to be about as wide as this painter's tape. So I'm going to take a piece of this painter's tape and just mark the edge of it. And I'll show you here in just a moment what I'm doing. know if you can see this. Let me get a darker pen. So I just marked the center point on this piece of tape so that I know that my tape is going to be the center point. So from here, what I'm going to do is just mark the edge of the tape. And this is just the easiest way for me to get it marked out evenly. So next, what I'm going to do to just make sure that these line up, excuse me, line up pretty well is go ahead and make just a little tick mark here at the top. And if you're not a measurer like I am, you know, and you just prefer to eyeball it, then by all means, go ahead and eyeball it. Okay, next I'm going to tack on the lace pieces because they are going to run over into the red parts, and I want the fabric to actually overlap the lace, not the other way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting some strips. Now I'm going to come in and start applying the polka dot stripes. Next to come is the plaid fabric. Okay, and the last step I'm going to do here is add this lace on top of the other lace. So that's what we have so far. Next, what I'm going to do to this is actually take the heat gun to it, just to kill off some of these spiders, these spider webs that are on here from the hot glue. And then I'm actually going to do a layer of Mod Podge over this to seal it in. I'm going to do that off camera, however, so I'll be back with the next step. Next, I'm going to come in with the Waverly wax in antique, and I have these stars here that were in my stash, and also 4 of the stars that came off of the original signs. And so I'm gonna do the antique wax on the stars, and then I'm gonna come back around with this burnt umber by Apple Barrel and kind of do some little rust on these stars over here. Both of these have had an opportunity to completely dry. So now at this point, what I'm going to do is take my knife or my blade here and cut the edges off and also cut the circles out here. So next I'm just going to take my raggedy little sanding block from Dollar Tree and just go along the edges here. There were some areas that I didn't get so close to the board, so I'm just going to clean up some of those areas here. And when you're doing this, you always want to, well, if you're going to do this, with any medium, whether it's paper or fabric, you want to brush down away from you or side to side. You never want to go in an upward motion, because if you go up, you could risk not so much ripping the fabric, but if it's paper, you could potentially rip the paper on the upward flow. So you just want to make sure you go in the downward. Finished the sanding, and I just wanted to say that I really liked how it was looking faded around the edges, so I went ahead and ran the sander on some of the other pieces of fabric. Didn't really make a difference on this lace portion, but you can see here where the fabric is sort of faded out on the edges. So the next thing I'm going to do is add the stars. But first I'm going to lay them out to make sure how I want them to be. Thumbs up. I think I like it like this. I'm just making sure all the green lines are facing in the same direction. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of this quick grip strong adhesive and hot glue. I have a couple of strips left of this fabric, so I thought I could make a bow. And then I wanted to add raffia, and when I went up into my stash, I saw that I had this brown and this red also. The red I'm not too sure about. I just feel like it's a little bit off. And these are from the fall time. It came with these two, and I want to say it's an orange one as well. So I think I'm going to use these two and not the red this time to make the bow. So I'm going to figure out how to open this. All of a sudden I don't know how to tie a bow. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you wear flip-flops all the time. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I had to reduce the bunch a little bit as compared to the size of the bow, and I think that's gonna work out better here. And so now I'm going to glue my little bow to the center of this. Set that to the side. And next, I'm going to put these together. And then I'll be using this nautical rope. This piece that I just cut is about 31 inches. And I'm just going to take, excuse me, I'm just going to take this end here and loop it off like this. Sorry, I need to check to see if I like it the other way. And yes, I do. I like it better this way. I don't know. Let me trim this up a little bit. Just a little. And I want it to still be some longer, some shorter. I am going to put it up on the rope. There it is. Last thing I'm going to do here is just trim these up. So this I love this. I love how it came out. I think it's adorable. This can be just hung on a hook, on a nail, on your front door, on a wall. This is going to be staying inside the house for me. So I just really love how this came out. I don't know what else to say, but we'll see it displayed here in a little while. Don't forget to check out the playlist linked in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and leave me a comment below. If you'd like to see more, subscribe and choose all notifications so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, love, inspire, create. See you next time.